welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be covering is talking about the recent AL and NL games of yesterday, just recapping all the action in baseball of yesterday. Then we'll be talking about Jackson Holliday getting called up by the Baltimore Orioles and the impact it will have on the team and just my overall thoughts on it. And finally, we'll be talking about the Josiah Gray injury from the Washington Nationals. Now, before we do that, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read on the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. Really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get straight into the video. Stream, I should say. We're going to start our first segment here. It's going to be recapping the games yesterday. We're going to start off with the American League games, and I'm going to split them into American League and National League like I always do, because it would just be too long to read them all out in one segment. So, let's get straight into this. So, first game we'll be talking about today is going to be Royals-Astros. A really exciting game here. In the top of the first, the Astros would open up the scoring with a Yainer Diaz RBI groundout. Went to third baseman Michael Garcia, scored Jose Altuve, so Astros get on the board early in the top of the first, making it 1-0. Yordan Alvarez would hit a RBI single to score Jeremy Pena to make it 2-0 in the top of the second. And Yordan Alvarez would hit a RBI double in the top of the fourth to score Mauricio Dubon. So Astros great offense coming in clutch early. No real surprises here. But the Royals start to fight back a little bit in the bottom of the fifth. Michael Garcia would hit a sacrifice fly to score Adam Frazier to make it 3-1 Houston. Then Bobby Witt Jr. would triple in the same inning to make it 3-2, and Vinny Pasquantino would reach on a fielding error by Alex Bregman, all in the bottom of the fifth for the Royals to tie it up just like that. I mean, it's showing already how much the Royals have already improved. I think that so far they've been playing great, and the new additions are helping a lot. And so we move now to the bottom of the 10th. Nothing would happen before then. Salvador Perez would hit a RBI single, scoring Garrett Hampson to have the Royals win on a walk-off 4-3. So a great game by the Royals to beat a great Astros team. I mean, the Royals have some real talent right now, and they've been doing really, really well, so props to them. For the pitching side, they had Cole Reagans going their ace. 5 innings pitched, 10 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Really nice start by him. 10 hits is a lot, but only giving up 3 runs, I think, is good damage control. Yes, only went 5 innings and 10 hits, probably not great. But at the same time, you're facing a really great Astros lineup, and giving up only 3, I think, is all right. Obviously, you'd want Reagans to be better, but it's not a horrible start against an offense like the Astros. For the Astros, they had Christian Javier going. He went 5 1/3 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts, 5 hits as well. Really strong start for him. 1.10 ERA in the season. Been really, really good so far. So, yeah, good for the Astros. Now, the Astros now are 4-8, which is not what anyone is expecting, I think. I mean, right now they're second to last in the American League West. Somehow the A's are third. I don't know how that's possible, but because the A's are third, I'm going to say we take everything with a grain of salt. But at the same time, I do think the Astros have some problems right now. I think their bullpen isn't giving them a lot of length. I think their starting pitching is just going down in a heap with all these injuries, now to Valdez. So the Astros definitely have some pitching problems, I think, right now. And when this might be your kind of final hurrah with the core we all know and love, with guys like Bregman potentially leaving and Framber Valdez being a free agent after this year, same with Kyle Tucker, I think they want to capitalize on every opportunity. So the fact they are 4-8 and their pitching has some problems, it's definitely going to be something to watch as the season goes on and see what does happen with this team. But a great win by the Royals. I want to make sure that said. Next game we'll be talking about is going to be Tigers-Pirates. Top of the first here, we have Spencer Torkelson hitting the RBI single to score Matt Vierling, making it 1-0 Tigers in the top of the first. Edward Olivares would answer back with his second home run of the year, tying up the game at 1. Bottom of the third, Brian Hayes with an RBI single to make it 2-1. Bottom of the sixth, Edward Olivares would hit his second home run of the game, his third of the season, make it 3-1 Pittsburgh. He's been a really strong bat since coming over there from Kansas City. Top of the ninth, on a really weird play, the Tigers would tie up the game 3-3 on a Gio Urshela line drive single, scoring Riley Green and Zach McKinstry. A throwing error by Michael A. Taylor would bring in one of the runs. So nice job by the Tigers to capitalize off that. And everything would fall apart in the top of the ninth with Kerry Carpenter then hitting an RBI single to score Parker Meadows, and Jake Rogers would hit an RBI single himself to score Kerry Carpenter. So 5-3 Tigers. The Pirates would get their momentum lost after that, would not come back dropping their record to a measly 9-3. How will they ever recover? But yeah, really nice win by the Tigers to beat a strong Pirates team on the road. I think the Pirates are impressing a lot of people right now, and they're playing really, really well. For the Pirates, another strong start by one of the guys I kept dogging them for the entire offseason. Martin Perez going 8 innings strong, 6 hits, only 1 earned run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Just an incredible start. I mean, I don't know how they're getting this consistent of innings out of him and Mark Gonzalez, but hey, it's working. So, you're not complaining, I'd say. For the Tigers, they had Casey Mize going, who was okay, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 home run. Not great, but at the same time, only 2 earned runs against this Pirates offense that has been on fire. I think Tigers fans will take it. You definitely want it to be better, but it's not horrible. So next is the Orioles-Red Sox game, a divisional matchup. Going to the bottom of the first here, Tyler O'Neill would hit his 6th home run of the season for the Red Sox. Wow, he has been on a tear since coming over to Boston. Unfortunately, the rest of the Red Sox team would not be this game, as the Orioles would tie it up in the second with a Colton Cowser RBI double. Colton Cowser would then hit another RBI double, making it 3-1. Adley Rutschman hit an RBI single. Colton Cowser would hit a sacrifice fly, and Anthony Santander would hit an RBI single. And Cedric Mullins would do the same to make it 7-1 Baltimore, which is where the game would end. So nothing much doing for the Red Sox in this game after the first inning. Only had 2 hits the entire game. So yeah, not great for them, but an incredible start by the Orioles ace Corbin Burns. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. ERA under 3 for the season. So he's been incredible since coming over to Baltimore. Exactly what this young Orioles team needed, a true ace like him. So I'm thinking Orioles fans right now are really happy with the trade and how it's gone. For the Red Sox, they had Brian Bale going, who was okay, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 3 runs, only 1 earned, which I guess is a good sign. So you definitely want something better out of him, but errors kind of screwed him up. So what are you really going to do about that? So yeah, definitely not a great start for him, but wasn't horrible. Next game we'll be talking about is a divisional matchup. Is another one, White Sox Guardians, top of the first. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I apologize. Lenyn Sosa, Lenyn, so I apologize if I did pronounce that wrong. I've always had trouble with his name. I don't know, it's something about the letters that's always giving me trouble. But yeah, he had an RBI double to make it 1-0 Chicago in the top of the first. After that, Andrew Vaughn would follow it up with a RBI single to make it 2-0. Corey Lee would hit a single to make it 3-0, and Kevin Pillar would hit a RBI double to make it 5-0 White Sox in the top of the first. So a great job capitalizing on this first inning and hitting really well. For the Guardians, they would start to come back as Josh Naylor would hit a 2-run home run, his second of the season, to make it 5-2 Chicago in the bottom of the first. Bottom of the third, Tyler Freeman hit a RBI single to score Jose Ramirez to make it 5-3. Stephen Kwan would hit a RBI single to make it 5-4, and Jose Ramirez would do the same to tie up the game at 5 in the bottom of the fourth. So Guardians didn't, they didn't weep for themselves after they fell behind really early to the White Sox. They got up and they tied the game up. It's a really nice job by them. Unfortunately, it would not matter as Dominic Fletcher would hit a RBI double in the top of the 8th to make it 7-5 Chicago, and they would end up winning the game. But still a nice job by the Guardians to come back. Nice job by the White Sox to beat a red-hot Guardians team. For the White Sox, they did have Michael Soroka on the mound, who was not good. 3 2/3, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. ERA is at 6 right now. I thought he would be a good pitcher for the White Sox. He has not been so far, so might have to take the L on that one, but he's definitely not been great. The Guardians, they had Logan Allen on the mound. He went 4 innings pitched, giving up 5 run runs and 7 hits. Not a good start at all, especially against an offense like the White Sox. Not what you want to see, so definitely hoping he gets better as season does go on. After that, we are going to have the game of the Marlins and Yankees, a really exciting one here in the Bronx. Going to the bottom of the second now, Alex Verdugo would hit a solo home run, his second of the year. Really nice shot to make it 1-0 New York. Giancarlo Stanton would hit a RBI double to score Juan Soto in the bottom of the 5th to make it 2-0. And Juan Soto would hit a RBI single in the bottom of the 6th to make it 3-0. Man, he is so good. Top of the 7th, Jesus Sanchez would hit a RBI groundout with the bases loaded to make it 3-1. And Nick Gordon would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 3-2. So the Marlins would start to come back a little bit, but that'll be no match for the back end of that Yankees bullpen, as the Yankees would end up closing it out 3-2. So a really strong start here for the Yankees. Carlos Rodon, he went 6 innings pitched, giving up 4 hits, 2 runs, none of them earned. So Really, really strong start for him. ERA under 2 to the start of the season. So if he can be really good, I think this makes the Yankees rotation so much better, and I really think Yankees fans are hoping that he is. For the Marlins, they had A.J. Puck going, who was not great. 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. Not good at all. I don't think the experiment of having him as a starting pitcher is working out whatsoever. So if I'm the Marlins, I put him back to a reliever, but they may want to tank right now because of how bad they are. So we'll see. We'll really see what happens with Puck and what does happen with this Marlins team. Next game we have is Mariners Blue Jays. For the bottom of the third, we have the scoring opening up with a George Springer RBI single to score Dalton Varsho. Then Bo Bichette would hit a 2-run home run, his first of the season, in the bottom of the third as well to make it 3-0. So nice start by the Blue Jays offense. IKF would then hit a RBI double to score Kevin Biggio to make it 4-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Excuse me. And George Springer would hit an RBI single to score IKF to make it 5-0 Toronto in the bottom of the fourth as well. Mariners would attempt to come back a little bit with a Dominic Canzone solo home run, his third of the season, to make it 5-1. And Mitch Haniger back on the Mariners would hit a 2-run home run to make it 5-3. But they would not score after that, and the Blue Jays would end up winning the game 5-3. So a nice strong win by the Blue Jays there. The Mariners had George Kirby on the mound, who was not good. 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs. Only 3 strikeouts, no walks, but that's nothing compared to the runs. So he has not been good to start the season. George Kirby, really surprising. I thought he would be in for a breakout season. I still think there is potentially some potential left in there. I do think he's still going to be a really good pitcher. Just getting off to a rough start, and you definitely need to clean that up. For the Blue Jays, they had Chris Bassett going, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. So not a great start. I mean, the 4 walks kind of concerning, but only 1 run I think is pretty good. 5 ERA in the season right now, so kind of an interesting start. Yeah, definitely going to watch him and see how he does perform as the season goes on. But it was okay yesterday, really. All you can say about that. So yeah, the next game we will be talking about is going to be Athletics Rangers, an AOS matchup. Bottom of the first, Josh Smith would hit a RBI single to score Marcus Semien to make a 1-0 Texas. Then Shea Langeliers would tie it up for the A's, hitting the second home run of the season, making it 1-1. Jonah Heim would hit a solo home run himself to make it 2-1, so nice job by the catchers on each team to come in clutch with the bat. Langeliers would answer back, would make it 2-2, his third home run of the season, second of the game, so just really a catching offense barrage right now. The bottom of the seventh, Evan Carter would hit his first home run of the season, making it 3-2 Texas, so nice job by the Rook to come in clutch at the end there. Unfortunately, it would not matter, as Shea Langeliers would finish off his monster day with his third home run of the game, making it 4-3, and the A's would end up winning. So a really nice job by this young A's team to beat the defending world champions. Really strong win as well. Definitely would be enthused by that if I was an A's fan. For the Rangers, they had Nate Eovaldi on the mound, going 5 2/3, giving up 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Really strong start by him. Yes, it's the A's offense, but you can only beat who you play, so nice strong start by him. The A's had Alex Wood, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, more walks and strikeouts. Definitely not great, and probably why he got traded from a good team of the Giants to a bad team like the A's. Final game we'll be talking about for the AL slate before we move on to the NL is Rays and Angels. For the bottom of the first, we had Mike Trout opening up the scoring with a 2-run home run, his 6th home run of the year. Great strong start by Trout to make it 2-0. In the top of the second, we would have Jose Siri hitting an RBI double to score the rookie Curtis Mead to make it 2-1. And Jose Caballero would hit a RBI single to score Jose Siri to tie up the game for the Rays at 2-2. Caballero would come in clutch again in the top of the fourth with another RBI double to make it 3-2. And Harold Ramirez would hit an RBI single to make it 4-2. Bottom of the fourth, Nolan Schanuel would reach on a fielding error by Caballero to score Brandon Drury. So kind of a double-edged sword there. Caballero drives in some runs but also makes an error. So Isaac Paredes would hit a solo home run to make it 5-3 Tampa. Nice job to get some insurance there. Harold Ramirez would hit a RBI single to make it 6-3. Angels would attempt to come back with a Luis Rengifo RBI single in the bottom of the ninth to make it 6-4, but it'll be no match as the Rays would end up winning this game, getting back to 500, winning 6-4. For the Rays, they did have on the mound Aaron Savali, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 runs though, so one of them wasn't earned, 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. Nice strong start to the season by him. With all the pitching injuries, he's really been clutch, him and Zach Eflin. For the Angels, they had Patrick Sandoval, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Not a great start by him and not really a great season so far, so definitely want to see him do better, and hopefully they do. So, that was the end of the AL slate for yesterday. We'll be moving on to our second segment, which is talking about the NL slate. Kind of the same thing, just talking about the NL games. So, we'll see you after the break, and we'll talk about that then. So, thanks, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We're going to go into our second segment here today, but before we do that, I would like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into our second segment of the day. All right, so we just recapped the AL games of yesterday, so it's only fitting we do the NL. So, let's get straight into it. So, first game we'll be talking about is a really exciting one, again, with the Mets and Braves. Like I said, whenever these two teams meet, it seems to be really, really exciting. So, definitely interested to talk about this one. In the bottom of the first, Ozzie Albies would hit a RBI double to give Atlanta the lead 1-0. In the bottom of the third, Austin Riley would hit a RBI single to make it 2-0. Matt Olson would hit a RBI single to make it 3-0, and Marcell Ozuna would do the same as the two before him, making it 4-0, all in the bottom of the third. Adrian Hauser, the Mets starting pitcher, would give up 6 straight singles, so was getting nipped in the butt by some soft hit singles. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Bottom of the fourth, Austin Riley would hit a, guess what? You guessed it, RBI single to make it 5-0 Atlanta. Man, the Mets cannot catch a break with these RBI singles. Bottom of the sixth, Ozzie Albies would hit a RBI groundout to make it 6-0, so looked like Atlanta had the game in the driver's seat in the bottom of the sixth. Going into the eighth, they were still up 6-0, but the Mets would say no, and come back. Pete Alonso would hit a 3-run home run, making it 6-3, so nice job by Alonso there to get the Mets on the board and get them suddenly back into the game. Omar Narvaez would hit an RBI double in the top of the ninth to score Harrison Bader, making it 6-4. And Starling Marte would hit an RBI groundout to make it 6-5 with 2 outs now. So the Mets had one chance up to bat, and they would unfortunately hit a fly out. So they came back at the end 6-5 against a really strong Braves team. So, I mean, yes, they did lose, but it's really encouraging for how the season's going so far, and a really nice fake comeback, you could say, but still a nice job by them. They had Adrian Hauser on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Only 1 strikeout somehow. So the start definitely could have been worse, though. He gave up a lot of singles, as I say. He was playing a really great Braves offense. So, definitely not great, and not what you want to see, but could have been a lot worse. For the Braves, they had Reynaldo Lopez going, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no 1 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. So turns out the experiment of making him a relief pitcher and making him starting pitcher from a relief pitcher right now is working out pretty well. So, I mean, hey, the Rays know what they're doing. That's all I'll say. Next game we are talking about is going to be the Brewers and Reds, a NL Central matchup here. Top of the third, Blake Perkins would hit a RBI single to make it 2-0 Brewers to start scoring off early. Same innings, Christian Yelich would single in Blake Perkins to make it 3-0. Bottom of the fourth, Cincinnati would get their first run on the board with a RBI single by Jake Fraley to score Christian Encarnacion Strand. Then Christian Yelich would hit another RBI to get an RBI double to score Blake Perkins and William Contreras to make it 5-1 Milwaukee. Blake Perkins himself would hit an RBI single to make it 6-1, and then Jake Bauers would hit an RBI double to make it 8-1. Sal Frelick would hit a RBI single to make it 9-1, and as you can see, the Brewers would be in the driver's seat of this game, but the Reds would start to come back a tiny bit in the bottom of the 7th now. Tyler Stevenson would hit a RBI double to make it 9-3. Elly De La Cruz would ground out to make it 9-4, and Spencer Steer would hit an RBI double to make it 9-5, scoring Jake Fraley. Now, unfortunately, they would not be able to score in the 9th, as they would end up losing this game to their division rival Brewers 9-5, but still a nice job to come back a little bit, I guess, but the Brewers have been off to a really nice start. 7-3, nothing to sneeze at. So, yeah, it's definitely been strong. So, really not much to judge here. So, yeah, for the Reds, they had Frankie Montas on the mound. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So, an okay start by him, not the best. For the Brewers, they did have Joe Ross on the mound, going 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 runs, 2 earned. So a pretty nice start by Joe Ross. This Cincinnati offense is nothing to cough at. So definitely a nice start there. So nice job by the Brewers to defeat their division rival, and just an overall nice game in general. Next, we are going to be talking about the Dodgers-Twins game. A really nice game here. It's really exciting. So, yeah, two just really good teams in the Dodgers and Twins. So let's get straight into it. Starting off in the top of the 4th, we had James Outman hitting a 3-run home run to make it 3-0 Dodgers. So a really nice start by him to start off the game for the Dodgers as well. Will Smith, the newly extended catcher, would hit a 3-run home run himself to make it 6-0. So 3-run home runs in back-to-back innings. But you can't count out the Twins just yet. In the bottom of the 8th, Ryan Jeffers would hit a solo home run to make it 6-1. And Carlos Correa would do the same, making it 6-2. And Alex Kirilloff would do the same to make it 6-3. Those were both in the bottom of the 9th, but they would unfortunately not score after that, and it would be 6-3. So Twins have not been off to a great start so far, 3-6. I think some of the other Central teams have been off to a better start than them, but you can't really count them out yet. I still think they're going to win that division. I still think they're a great team, and we'll see what happens there. They had Louis Varland on the mound, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 9 ERA in the season. Not a good start by Varland. He's playing the Dodgers, so it's kind of what you expect, but still, you definitely want something better than that. For the Dodgers, they had superstar Tyler Glasnow on the mound, who was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best starts of the season so far. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 14 strikeouts, a 2.25 ERA in the season. Glasnow's been absolutely incredible. Just honestly amazing. There's a lot of question marks I had, especially about this trade when they acquired him from the Rays. He's had a lot of he's on a lot of injuries over his career, but hey, he's turned all those naysayers into dust right now. He's been so good, and he's pitching like this, especially against a really good team like the Twins, that there's going to be a lot less people giving him flack for his injuries in the past. So yeah, a really strong start there. Next game we're going to be talking about is going to be Cardinals-Phillies, a matchup of the red team, a matchup of two red teams, I should say. Kind of a boring one here. Bottom of the 4th, Nolan Gorman would hit a solo home run to make it 1-0. Victor Scott would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 2-0, and Brandon Donovan would hit a RBI grounder to make it 3-0 St. Louis, and that is where the game would end. So only the Phillies had more hits than the Cardinals, but would score no runs. So kind of a boring one here. The Phillies had Zach Wheeler on the mound, who was absolutely phenomenal. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, only 3 on runs, and they weren't really earned by hard hits except for the home runs. So yeah, a really nice strong start by him, especially against an offense like the Cardinals, but his own team would not be able to help him. As they say, you can leave the Mets, but you can't escape the Mets. That seems like a Mets kind of thing to do. And even though he's on the Phillies now, of course, he was on the Mets, so that trail of being on the Mets is following him. For the Cardinals, they had Sonny Gray on the mound, who was really great. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, no 1 runs, 5 strikeouts, so a really nice start by him. His first start as a Cardinal, of course, only pitched 5 innings coming back from injury, so it's wasn't the best, but at the same time, you're building him up, and still was a really nice start coming off that injury he did have. So I'd definitely be excited about his season so far if I was a Cardinals fan and seeing what he does next. I think he's such a big part of this rotation. He's clearly their best pitcher. So, yeah, definitely excited if I was a Cardinals fan for that. Next game we have is a NL West matchup, Diamondbacks-Rockies. Corbin Carroll would hit a solo home run, his first of the year finally. Took him a little while to get that, but he did end up getting it to make it 1-0 in the top of the first. Christian Walker would hit a RBI single to make it 2-0 Arizona. And the Rockies start to come back a little bit in the bottom of the first, answering back with a Ryan McMahon RBI groundout to make it 2-1. Reno Grichuk would hit his first home run as an Arizona Diamondback against his former team, the Rockies, to make it 3-1. So nice insurance run there by the Diamondbacks and the newest Diamondback, Reno Grichuk. Bottom of the sixth, Elias Diaz would hit an RBI single to score Ezekiel Tovar to make it 3-2. And that is all the runs the Rockies would end up getting. So, nice start, nice game by the Diamondbacks here to beat a bad Rockies team. Excuse me. We all know they should, but sometimes you aren't able to, and it's really nice that they were able to capitalize and end up beating them. For the Rockies, they had Cal Quantrill on the mound, who was okay actually, going 6 innings, giving up 8 hits and 3 earned runs. No walks and 6 strikeouts, so not a bad start, especially against an offense like Arizona. I think you come to expect not the best because they are so good. So a nice start there by Quantrill, who's definitely hanging on to his MLB career by a thread right now. The Diamondbacks had Merrill Kelly, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Still an amazing season so far by Kelly. I still think he's the most underrated player in baseball. He should be a household name at this point. A really, really great pitcher that people don't realize how good he is. Really, really a big fan of him. For the next game we'll be talking about is going to be Nationals-Giants. Nationals upset the Giants yesterday, so we'll see if they can do the same as well. The day before, I should say, on the Tuesday show when we talked about it. For Patrick Bailey, he would open up the scoring for the teams with a sacrifice fly to score Thairo Estrada to make it 1-0. C.J. Abrams would answer back, giving the Nationals a lead with a 2-run home run, giving the Nationals the lead 2-1. C.J. Abrams would then hit an RBI single to score Jacob Young to make it 3-1, so really, really strong game by him. Nick Ahmed would hit a RBI single to score 2 after a throwing error as well by Lane Thomas to make it 3-3. Trey Lipscomb would break up the tie, hitting a sacrifice fly, did not mean for that to rhyme, to make it 4-3 Washington. And Riley Adams would hit a RBI double to make it 5-3 Washington, getting some more insurance runs on the board. And that was all it for the Giants, and that would end up being 5-3 for Washington. So another strong game by Washington here to beat a good Giants team. We'll be talking about them later in the show, so we're not going to go too in-depth, but really nice job. Joan Adon, who started the game, went 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, more walks and strikeouts. But for 4 innings against a really solid Giants lineup, I'd take that. So I think Nationals fans will be fine with that start. For the Giants, they had Kyle Harrison going, who went 6 innings, giving up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. An okay start to the season by him, a 4.76 ERA. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. Next, we are going to be talking about the final game on the NL slate, Cubs and Padres. We open up the scoring in the top of the 5th here with a Yan Gomes solo home run. And then in the same inning, Christopher Morel with the big blow, a grand slam, his 3rd home run of the season, 5-0 Cubs, just like that after a close game all game. Egui Rosario would hit a solo home run, his 2nd of the season, make it 5-1, but they would not come back, and the Cubs would end up winning this game 5-1. Padres on the mound had Joe Musgrove, who was not great on the 3rd anniversary of his no-hitter in Texas. 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a home run allowed. ERA almost up to 7 right now. If the Padres want to be good this season and compete, they need their stars to perform like it. They need their great pitchers to perform like it, and they're just not doing that right now. For the Cubs, they had Ben Brown on the mound, who went 4 2/3, giving up 3 hits, no 1 run, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. So definitely not a horrible start, but not the best either. I mean, only 4 2/3. No 1 runs is nice, but I think you would like him to go deeper in the games, especially if they just called him up and he's trying to be a bigger part of your rotation. So, yeah, that is the end of the second segment talking about the recapping of the NL games from yesterday. We're going to our third segment here, which is going to be talking about Jackson Holliday being called up, the number one prospect in baseball, finally being called up by the Orioles. We'll be talking about that, my personal thoughts on it, and just kind of the effects of it for the Orioles and around the league. So, yeah, we'll see you after the break, and thanks. Bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment. We'll be talking about the top prospect in baseball, Jackson Holliday, being called up. So, yeah, let's get straight into this. So, with Jackson Holliday, he was a guy we've known about for a long time. Of course, already has the family connection with his father, Matt Holliday, being a very great MLB player for a long time in the league with the Cardinals and Rockies, among other teams. So, he already had that family affair. He was a top prospect coming out of high school, and of course was the first overall pick by the Orioles around 2 years ago. So, I've been waiting a long time for Holliday to come up. He's been the number one prospect in baseball for around a year now. I think it's been him, Francisco Alvarez, Jackson Chourio, James Wood, and some other guys as the consensus top guys. And Chourio's just got a big extension with the Brewers. Alvarez is tearing it up with the Mets. James Wood's on the cusp of coming up. So I think it was Holliday's time, and I think the Orioles are realizing that right now. So, yeah, the first question I want to ask, though, is why did this take so long? I mean, he should have been on the MLB roster opening day, without a doubt, 100%. So the fact that you sent him down and wanted him to get more reps at AAA is just crazy to me. I don't understand why you did that. It's just super strange, and I thought it was because they wanted him to get an extra year of control on him, but they called him up even a few days before that. So they really just firmly believed he wasn't ready for the MLB, which is crazy to me. I don't understand how you could see that, but yeah, the day that he got called up, he hit a 106 mile per hour hit off a lefty. So lefty on lefty, 106 miles per hour off the bat. So he was definitely ready. Made a great play at shortstop as well. So yeah, was definitely proved he was ready that day. And I think the Orioles finally came to their senses and realized that he was, and called him up finally. So he is actually in the lineup today for the Orioles. That I just got that news while I was on stream about 20 minutes ago. So for this lineup, he is going to be playing second and batting ninth. Of course, you have Gunnar Henderson playing short. I assume Henderson will move over to third as his career goes on, but really not sure what the Orioles lineup will look like in the future. I mean, they just have so much great young talent, especially in the middle infield. You have Jackson Holliday, Jordan Westerberg, Gunnar Henderson. I mean, just really, really great. I mean, right now this lineup is Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander, Ryan O'Hearn, Ryan Mountcastle, Cedric Mullins, Colton Cowser, Jordan Westerberg, Jackson Holliday. That's a great, great lineup. You have a lot of great young talent there, and I think Ryan O'Hearn's been a guy that kind of come out of nowhere and been a really solid DH option for them. I don't know if he can continue keeping that up after this year, but we'll see what does happen with him in this year. So, but yeah, I'm finally happy that they called up Holliday. I mean, it's been way too long. I don't understand why you had guys like Ramon Urias and Jorge Mateo as playing significant time over him. Holliday showed he was ready. Yes, he was young. He's going to be one of the youngest players in baseball this year and for a little while. But still, man, I mean, he was honestly ready. It made no sense for the Orioles not to call him up, especially when they're trying to win. It's not like they're trying to be bad like they have been for years before. No, the Orioles are good now. The Orioles are a really good team. I mean, they won 101 games last year, so it made no sense for them to keep him on the minor league roster as long as they did. Actually, a little fun fact now, the 3 youngest players in baseball are all named Jackson, which is kind of hilarious. You have, of course, Jackson Holliday, Jackson Churio, and Jackson Merrill. So kind of crazy with that. I guess if you want your kid to be a baseball player and make it to the league young, name him Jackson. I don't know, but yeah. Just still flabbergasted why it took this long, why they didn't call him up before. Just made no sense at the time, and it still doesn't make any sense. So yeah, the impact on the team I think is pretty high. Obviously, of course, you have who would you rather have? Ramon Urias, who I think currently has a negative 38 WRC plus, or Jackson Holliday, the superstar prospect. I'd probably rather have Jackson Holliday. So, yeah, I mean, it adds so much more depth to that lineup because you're going to have Holliday probably bat 7th, 8th, or 9th for a little while now as he gets his offense up. But, you still have to be wary of him because he is the top prospect in baseball. Pitchers aren't really going to know how to pitch to him at the start. They're going to try to feel him out, see what he swings at, see if he's a breaking ball hitter, a fastball hitter, swings at outside stuff, swings at inside stuff, has a good eye, is wild. We don't know really what he's going to do. You, of course, have the scouting reports from the minor leagues, but those aren't the same until you see him up close. You see him in a major league game and it's a major league opponent. So it's going to be a little feeling out process for major league pitchers. I do think Holliday is going to be pretty great right away, and even if not, I think his defense is going to carry the load. He, of course, has great speed, being only 20, and his defense is really, really solid. So, I mean, I think Holliday is going to be an immediate great player and just overall really, really good. So, yeah, definitely really excited for him and really excited to see what could happen with Holliday and just how he does perform. I really am excited to watch him, just to see what does happen with him and how, again, how much does he impact the team? How much more depth and length does he give this Orioles lineup? And how good is he right away? That's something I'm going to be watching. Again, I think he'll be really good, but there's a filling out process. You have to get used to the major leagues. It's not high school and it's not MLB anymore. He barely played at the major leagues. He was in high school. He never played college, so it is going to be interesting to see how that bat does develop and how it does kind of get used to and get adjusted to the major league level of pitching. So, yeah. Like I said, I think he'll be really good right away. I think the impact on the Orioles team is very, very positive. I think he's a really, really good player and just super excited to watch him and just how exciting of a player he will be. I think he's going to be really fun to watch. He has a slick glove, great speed, that hair as well. I mean, hey, it adds to a baseball player. What am I going to say? Long hair means you're going to be better. So, still got that baby face. So I think there's a lot of marketability there. And the Orioles' young talent is finally coming up. They have so much more on the horizon as well, which is crazy. I mean, guys like Heston Kjerstad, Samuel Basallo, Enrique Bradfield Jr. is another guy I'm pretty high on as well. So, yeah, I think the Orioles have so much young talent. Holliday's only the cusp of it. He's the number one guy, of course, but they have so much depth in that farm system that they're going to keep churning out young talent all the way. So, yeah, definitely super exciting, and it's going to be really exciting to watch. I mean, other guys, I forgot, of course, about Kobe Mayo as well, another guy who they're going to call up. And even so, just the young talent you already have there. Guys like Gunnar Henderson, guys like Colton Cowser, Jordan Westerberg, just the sheer amount of talent the Orioles have in this farm system is incredible, and really excited to watch it as season goes on and as just the seasons, plural, go on. Seeing how everyone does perform. So, yeah, definitely going to be fun to watch that. Now, an outlook for the Orioles right now, I still think they're one of the better teams in baseball. Corbin Burns has played up to his potential with the Orioles. He's been really, really impactful, been really, really good. And I think the trade is working out real nice for them so far. He's been very, very good. We just talked about it today, how he had a great start against the Red Sox. He's really been everything they've wanted, and other than that, they have other guys in the rotation who are ready to make an impact. Guys like Grayson Rodriguez, guys like Dean Kramer, John Means, and with Kyle Bradish out for we don't know how long, you need these guys to step up. You, of course, have Burns, but after Burns, everything's kind of a question mark. So it's definitely important that these guys do step up, and it is definitely important that the Orioles do have their young pitchers perform really well. I think Grayson Rodriguez really is the key to this Orioles team being good or not. He's been good so far, but if you can continue it up, you have a legit number 2. And when Kyle Bradish comes up, you have a number 3 that no one can screw around with. So he's definitely one of the big guys, but I think overall just the pitching in general needs to step it up. That was their big problem last year. That's why they get bounced in the playoffs so early. And that's what they need to improve on right now. So, yeah, they're still a great team. I still have them as probably the best team in the AL. I'd say it's likely that they are the best team in the AL, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, just, again, super exciting to watch them and super interested to see what does end up happening with this team and how much Holliday does affect them. Like I said, I think it gives them a lot more length in that lineup, a lot more depth, and just pitchers are going to be scared of the bottom of your lineup now. I don't think there's really a place in the lineup where the pitcher can relax, and so many teams above them have that. I mean, teams like the Astros, team like the Yankees, they don't have a place in their lineup where you can just relax and say, okay, you know what, this is fine. I can attack this guy here. Of course, the Yankees might have it some days, and the Astros might have it some days when someone's getting a day off. But when you're in the playoffs, or when it's a really important game, when everyone's playing, you don't want that. You want every part of your lineup to be killer. And the Orioles right now, you have Adley Rutschman, probably the best catcher in baseball. I said it. Sorry. You have Ryan Mountcastle, really solid first baseman. You have Jackson Holliday, of course, going to be really good. You have Gunnar Henderson, amazing. Jordan Westerberg, really great young player. Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander, Colton Cowser, Ryan O'Hearn, all great hitters. So the Orioles lineup is really improving, and overall as a team they're improving. So it's going to be exciting to watch this young core and this young team as the years do go by. And even when the other guys come up, like Heston Kjerstad, like Enrique Bradfield Jr., Colby Mayo, Samuel Basallo, they're going to have to find a place because this lineup is so deep. And especially Basallo, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with him, considering they have Rutschman. I, in my personal opinion, I think Basallo will be traded pretty soon, to be honest. He's a great player, but they just have a catcher, and they have so many other position players that someone has to go. I think whoever the top starting pitching arm on the deadline will be, in my opinion, it will be Jesus Luzardo. I would think Luzardo gets traded rather quickly at the deadline. And I think the Orioles offering a package of someone like Basallo or a Swiss lemon like Basallo as the centerpiece, I think will be very intriguing to that Marlins team. So, again, getting way ahead, but got to think about these things. My mind is always racing when it comes to baseball. So, yeah. So that was it. Just talking about the number 1 prospect in baseball, Jackson Holliday, finally being called up by his team, the Baltimore Orioles. Really exciting stuff, and just super interesting to finally be able to talk about him. And just overall, really exciting. So, yeah, we're going to go on to our 4th and final segment here, which is going to be talking about the Josiah Gray injury for the Washington Nationals, the effects on the Nationals, long-term effects of Gray, and just kind of adding on to the whole pitching epidemic thing where, so many pitchers have been getting hurt now, and you have one more with Josiah Gray. So, not going to spoil it too much, but we'll see you after the break. So, thanks, and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our 4th and final segment today, which is going to be talking about the injury to Nationals ace. Because it's the Nationals, they don't really have an ace. They're kind of crappy. But, their best pitcher, I should say, Josiah Gray, getting injured. So news broke either a day or 2 days ago that he was scratched from his start with a elbow flexor strain, which sounds bad. And he was scratched from his start and ended up getting replaced and subsequently being put on the 15-day IL. Now, how bad is this injury? Well, it's to your pitching elbow, so it's not good. I'll tell you that. I think any baseball fan can really see that and know that right away, that an injury to your pitching arm, to your elbow, to something like that is not good, not something you want. Of course you don't want any injury, but an injury to the pitching elbow of a pitcher is bad. Now, do I think it's Tommy John or something like that going on the 60-day IL? No, I don't. I don't think he's suddenly going to have Tommy John tomorrow, but at the same time, this is how these things kind of start. You see pitchers like Strider who, he reported he had elbow soreness, and now it's 50-50 that it's Tommy John. So, no injury to your pitching elbow can be good. There's no positive effects of that whatsoever. So your Nationals fans and baseball fans overall are just really hoping that Gray can not get Tommy John, avoid that, and come back relatively soon. We don't know when it will be, but hopefully it's soon. Just Gray has done such a nice job in his career now of picking it back up. Was the main part of that huge Max Scherzer trade going to the Dodgers from the Nationals. Of course, Max Scherzer was a franchise icon with the Nationals, probably the greatest player in their franchise history. I mean, he's up there with, of course, guys like Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon, Trey Turner, Steven Strasburg. Nationals franchise isn't very old, so Josiah Gray was the main part of that, and coming over first at the 2021 deadline, made 12 starts with them, 5.31 ERA, was not good. 2022 had a 5.02 ERA, so he was kind of looking like he potentially may be a bust. And then in 2023, he put it all together, having a 3.91 ERA in 30 starting games started, was the Nationals All-Star, so it was really nice to see him put it all together, finally become the Josiah Gray that we thought he could be back when he was a top prospect back with the Reds. So, yeah, it was a really nice story to finally see a young player not just kind of become a bust and go back to oblivion, but put it all together, become a really, really solid MLB pitcher. So I was excited for him, even though he was my division rival. It's nice to see him, from New York, from Rochester. So nice to see him perform really well. So it is unfortunate that he now is going to be on the 15-day IL, and it would really, really be horrible if he were to get Tommy John or a major injury like that. We just saw it with another star young pitcher like Yuri Perez, and it's of course horrible when any pitcher has Tommy John. I want to say that right away. Of course, we all know that. But at the same time, when a young pitcher gets it, a guy who's just starting his career out, or a guy in the case of Gray who's finally found his footing in the major leagues, finally found his way and how to pitch, and finally living up to his potential, it really is worse because it just kind of cuts your career short in a way that you didn't expect. You lose a year and a half, sometimes 2 full ones. So it would just be really unfortunate if Gray were to have Tommy John or something real bad, and really hoping it's not. I mean, I had a whole segment on it a few days ago about pitching injuries and what's going on and my personal opinion on them. So it's happened again. It strikes again, the year of the pitching injuries. In 2023, we've had more Tommy John surgeries already than, I believe, the year 1990 alone. If I read that quote correctly, I'll try to find it again. But yeah, I mean, just it's awful what's going on right now with baseball and the pitching injuries, especially these young guys like a Josiah Gray, like a Yuri Perez, and you really need this to stop. Okay, sorry, I actually read it. It's worse than what I said. This is from Baseball Does Not Exist, one of the better baseball YouTubers on the platform. So if you love baseball, love my content, go check out him. He's great with the baseball videos. In 2023, there were more Tommy John surgeries amongst professional pitchers in the entire decade of the 1990s combined, the entire decade. That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's because of the reasons, in my opinion, as I said before. Pitchers are throwing too fast. They're putting too much pressure on their arm. The pitch clock gives pitchers less of an amount of time to recover after throwing these insane pitches. So it's really unfortunate that Gray is hurt. You're hoping that doesn't turn into something worse. It only is 15 days, so you're, of course, hoping that it doesn't turn into something worse. I mean, today, a few hours ago, Kodai Senga of the Mets was placed on the 60-day IL after being originally for the 15th. Now, it's not a huge thing because he's not going to, it's not like he's out for the rest of the season, but he's not able to come back now until May 27th. So he's not going to be back probably till early June. So these things can transform, especially for a young pitcher, and really hoping it doesn't. Gray's had such a rocky time in the MLB. Finally found his footing. Was bad this year, yes, but was only starting out, and maybe he had the injury before. So you really want him to bounce back, recover, and just really play well and perform and pitch really, really nice. So that's what I'm hoping for the Nationals and Josiah Gray, hoping that he can perform again well and be really, really good. So, yeah. The impact, I just want to follow back with that. We're hoping for the best for Josiah Gray. It is unfortunate with this injury. For a young pitcher as well, I'm going to keep saying it, you don't want these things to happen. It's going to affect your pitching a lot. Now, again, Tommy John is kind of something that is just going to happen to pitchers nowadays. It's just something you have to deal with. You're going to get once in your career. But this would be the worst time for Gray to get it, right when he's finally starting to find his footing in the MLB, finally becoming a really good pitcher for this Nationals team, this young Nationals team as well. Now, are the Nationals the best team? No, they aren't. But they have a lot of good young players. And, you have Mackenzie Gore, Jake Irvin, Cade Cavalli, who is also on the injured list. So you have some young pieces in the pitching staff. You have Patrick Corbin, who only has 1 year left. Rejoice, Nationals fans. Only 1 year left on that contract. I mean, they're probably dancing in the streets of D.C. that he only has 1 year left. But the Nationals have a lot of good young talent, and when looking to replace what Gray brings, if you are trying to win, you need guys like Corbin to step up, guys like Jake Irvin to step up. And, other guys that I think need to be really good if you want to kind of replace the way that Gray was doing. Again, I think maybe someone like Jackson Rutledge, Mason Thompson when he gets off the injured list, Thad Ward, just these kind of 4A type guys, which is really good in AAA, but when he gets up to the major league, he's awful. You need these guys to make a name for themselves, differentiate themselves from the pack of the mediocre pitchers we have. So, yeah, I think if the Nationals want to compete at all, they want to emulate the value that Gray was bringing. One of these guys needs to step up. Corbin needs to be good again, and really that's what you need for this Nationals team. They're not trying to win. I understand that. They're just trying to rebuild, but they might be trying to win next year, and you want to see what you have in these young players. And unfortunately, with Gray now being out for a little bit, we assume he's one of these younger guys is going to have a window to start, to be a consistent pitcher, be a consistent starter with this team, and I think that they need to take advantage of that, pitch really well. And if I was one of those guys on the edges of the Nationals roster, a guy who's trying to make a name for himself, be really, really good, this is what I'd be looking at. This is the opportunity. So, yeah. So just overall, bad for Gray. You don't want to see a young pitcher go down like this at all. Maybe I could be overreacting. He's only on the 15-day IL, but at the same time, we've seen what happens. We've seen what happened with elbow injuries nowadays, and what pitchers, what has happened to pitchers now with them. So, yeah, you're definitely hoping for the best for him, and really, really just hoping that everything does happen, and maybe he'll be one of those guys where Tommy John makes him better and gives him some bionic, elbow or arm or something like that. That's happened. Tommy John has helped some pitchers, so maybe it'll do that for the young guy in Gray. I think the impact on the Nationals is, it's not great for this year because, of course, you don't want to lose your ace, but it's worse if he has to get Tommy John for the future, because you're trying to compete next year. I think you have a lot of good young talent coming up, and you're going to have a lot of money on the books with Corbin coming off, and the Strasburg contract situation. Not really sure how that works, but I'm sure there's some money coming off the board for that because he did retire. So you could potentially be spending next year, and I think Gray was going to be a big part of your team if you were trying to compete, which I think they would be. So definitely hoping that he's okay, and definitely hoping this isn't something that carries into his career and affects him too much. So yeah, that is our show today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Just want to say that we invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified not only when I post, but when some of the other great content creators on this channel do post as well. Some great, bright minds in the sports media industry, and I think you'll be one to watch us. So I think we have a lot of great content here, and make sure to hit this notification bell to get notified. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see what baseball throws at us the next day. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't